I am surrounded by boxes and very, very stressed. But welcome back to the crypt. I'm only a couple days from moving day now, and next level stressed. So I don't have a ton of information for you guys. Most of this entire month for this wrap up has just been me with constant anxiety attacks. Unfortunately, there's going to be a little board change too. So don't worry, if you're subscribed to me and you have the bell notification clicked, nothing's going to change. You guys are still going to see some really exciting videos, that, at least that I'm excited about anyway, coming up for October. We're going to have some time blocking video stuff. We're going to have the outlining battle royale between different outlines. I'm really excited to get into that. I'm really excited about the project I'm going to do. But for those of you who are not subscribed and you rely on the algorithm for me to show up, I might be disappearing from the algorithm. And the reason for that is I'm going to be changing my tags. This is the last video where I am using Authortube as a tag for now. I've always been uncomfortable with like the larger Authortubers and how they worked, which I think for obvious reasons, everyone knows that. I'm not going to rehash that stuff. But usually mid-tier and smaller content creators on Authortube have always been pretty cool. Until very recently. As you guys well are aware, I'm a pretty small creator, and I interact with quite a few other small creators. And over the last couple days, something went down, and one of them made a mistake with a video, and some mid-tier who definitely have higher view counts and audience, they decided to do response videos, and that made me uncomfortable in and of itself. But I thought, I tried to take it in good faith, and I was like, well, I'm pretty sure they probably reached out to her about it. Now, the thing is, I had watched her video too, but I was also packing at the same time, so I only heard bits and pieces of her video, and I was going to email her about it, but I didn't initially, until I saw the responses, the clapbacks, as it were, that other people were doing, and I was like, that's kind of weird and uncomfortable. So I went ahead and emailed the smaller creator. I was like, hey, you okay? Like, what's going on? That's when I found out that none of these mid-tier to, larger content creators, none of them had reached out to the small creator. None of them had commented about their concerns. None of them had tried to email to talk to her and ask her to take down her videos so she could redo it. No one talked to her. They just went off. Here's the thing. I'm not going to be using the Authortuber tags because of my personal moral compass. Because I'm an educator, right? And there are lots of different ways to teach. And there's a lot of fear and shame-based teaching methods in the industry. A lot of it. And I came out of a lot of that kind of teaching style. And I would never, ever, ever recommend it. I see young people all the way through mid to late 20s, by the way. And the reason for that is because the brain hasn't finished developing till mid-20s at the earliest. And so I still consider them kids in a way. Because, I remember I was 21, 22 years old. And I said something dumb as hell on social media. I believe it was about the fashion industry. I made a really nasty comment publicly about how stupid I thought the whole thing was, and this was a really bad part, and how the people who made high fashion must also be stupid because they couldn't do real art. Now, a larger content creator found my comment, and this person had way more followers on Instagram than me and stuff, so she could have ripped me a new one publicly. But instead, this classy lady slid into my DMs and was like, hey, hun, I saw your latest post. I just want to say that I'm really disappointed in that view because a lot of people I know are in that industry and they work really, really hard on their art. This is their personal art. I understand that you might not get it, but that's okay. You don't have to get something to respect the artist. It was a reality check that, hey, the people that make this stuff are real people, which is such as, you'd think of course they're real people, but when you're online for long periods of time, you forget that there's someone behind the screen. You really legitimately do. And that was a huge wake-up call for me. I apologized privately to her, but I also apologized publicly. I took down my old post, apologized publicly, and I educated myself. I bettered myself. I'll fully admit I still don't understand high fashion, but I'm not going to say anything bad about the creators. You know, at some point we've all been 20 years old and said something that was wildly inaccurate. Yes, if she had dragged me on social media, I would have still learned to respect high fashion artists, but I would have learned through shame and fear, and I probably would have left social media because I would have given up. So my experience coming out of that learning was very different, right? So yes, people learn regardless of what path you choose to teach them, but it's going to be a different, like there are different consequences attached to them, you know? Kind of like, again, like religious trauma I have. Like, I remember the church ladies would be so passive aggressive. If you messed up once, like you brought in a dish that had the wrong ingredient or something like that and forgot to mark it or something, you know, the difference between a teacher who would pull you aside and be like, oh, I noticed you forgot to put like a night allergy warning on your dish at the potluck. Don't worry, I have an extra card. I'll write it down. Like, just try to remember next time, but it's okay. We can fix this now. It's fine. Versus church leaders who would use the microphone, welcome everyone there. Hi, thank you for coming to the potluck. And I see everyone's brought some lovely dishes, but you know, someone, I'm not going to say hell, but someone forgot to put the allergy warning. I think that's kind of disrespectful. Because some of us in the community have nut allergies, so it's really disrespectful that you did that. I remember things like that happening a lot to me as a kid in church, and it kind of gave the air you could never, ever make a mistake. So you were so terrified of making mistakes because people would drag you publicly for the mistake that you weren't really learning. You weren't challenging yourself. You weren't trying or pushing yourself, because doing so inevitably meant that someone was going to rip you a new one, right? Tying this all back to what happened recently, for those of you who don't know, be grateful you don't know, ignorance is bliss. The comments were even worse. Last time I checked, some of the comments are like, oh yeah, this was good tea and stuff like that, which is the whole reason I left the beauty community back in the day. My channel is pretty young, but my account is ancient. I've been on this platform since Michelle Phan days. Like, you know, the whole Sailor Moon makeup tutorial using Coastal Scents. Yeah, I remember those days. Very crystal clear. I had Coastal Scents. That was a simple time. I used to wear so much green eyeshadow. I don't know why. Lime green eyeshadow. Oh, like that was the whole reason I left the makeup community, was because of that catty, get the tea sis kind of shit. I'm just not into that, y'all. 20-year-olds are gonna make mistakes. All of us are gonna make mistakes. And if your first reaction to a younger, small content creator who's barely getting views to begin with, if your response to them making a mistake is, ooh, I gotta make an angry video on my channel, instead of just emailing the person and talking to them, better yet, asking them to take down the video and redo it. Because if the problem is misconception, which a lot of people who are making these response videos, they claim that was their biggest problem. Like, there's so many misconceptions. Why don't you email the creator to have the video taken down? Like, if the misconception education is your goal, why wouldn't you just contact the original creator and ask for them to take down the video? Because there's so many other ways you could have educated that would have been more educational. Because I didn't walk away from any of those response videos with a better idea of how self-publishing works or why a lot of these people choose it. So, like, if that was their goal, I don't think they succeeded. The only thing they succeeded is talking about the things that made them mad, which it's valid for you to be mad and have that opinion. But if you're going to be dragging a smaller content creator, that's shame-based. Like, the whole point is to shame someone. It's different when it's a large content creator or a company, right? A corporation. Like, I think we can all safely shame things like, you know, Random House Publishing for some of the BS that they do. You know, that's legit. I don't know, but like, in any case, regardless, this was a very long tirade, but I just want you guys to know where my moral compass is pointing and why I'm doing what I'm doing. Do I personally have like hardcore beef with anybody? Am I mad? No, I'm not mad. I'm just very disappointed. I know. I'm very dad right now. Very dad energy. I'm not mad. I'm disappointed, kids. Because I am. I'm very disappointed. I'm disappointed because I reached out to the small content creator asking how she was, and I found out no one else had tried to talk to her at all. But again, like, this is my moral compass. And, you know, if you're watching this and you think that it's not that big of a deal, that, you know, anyone who posts publicly, you know, they have it coming, your moral compass is your business. And I'm not going to tell you what to do. For me, staying in a community that does that kind of stuff, considering that I left places like the Christian church, I left places like the beauty community because of this kind of, you know, back and forth, because I don't appreciate it. I'm not okay with it. So seeing that happen in front of me this week, and also packing at the same time, it just was not fun, and I don't need that in my life. I'm already stressed. So yeah, again, if you're subscribed, nothing's gonna change. You're still gonna see, I'm still gonna be writing. That's not gonna change. My tags are just gonna go from Authortube to writing and writing community. I know that those tags don't perform very well on this platform, but it's whatever. I just don't feel comfortable interacting with Authortube at this time. That might change in the future, but I don't know. I'm very stressed out. Sorry, this was kind of not a great video. Sorry about that. I'm not in the best headspace, what with moving. Like, I feel like I'm racing towards the gateway to hell on a rocket-powered roller skates right now. Like, I'm so next level stressed. Thank you guys so much for watching. Happy autumn. Actually, autumn, that's a good thing. That's a positive thing that happened recently. Autumn started. For those of you in the northern hemisphere, and I love autumn. It's my favorite time of year. I haven't been able to really enjoy it very much because, you know, life. But I hope you guys are having a good time of it. And hey, I do have a really cute autumn appropriate bullet journal spread with Ghost Writer is the theme. Little ghosts and little typewriters. The coast turned out so cute. I'm very proud of it. I made it like last month and pre-filmed. But if that's not your thing and you're not interested in the bullet journal flip through that's coming up, that's totally fine. We can part ways here. Thank you guys for sticking around and listening to my ramblings. I hope to see you next time. We're going to be looking at, I believe, time blocking. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. And if you're interested in seeing the flip through of my Ghostwriter spread, just keep watching.